legends, and welcome to my channel. Today we are going to make the Amaretto Sour, classic recipe, twist and a touch of history. So shall we get started? Let's go. So Amaretto Sour is quite a classic cocktail, and that's how you do it. You just go with Amaretto as an alcohol base, differently from the Morganthaler Sour, which I will tell you about in a little bit. So it goes with like around 50 milliliters of product, like ounce and a half, ounce and 3/4 in case you are watching me from America. Here you are. And then lemon juice, like 40 milliliters. And just a splash of simple syrup. This one is a 2-to-1 at the moment. And then it calls for egg white. Now, depending on the nation where you live, you can either use the fresh one, either use the pasteurized one. Then, in this case, I'm making it with the real product. So just crack some inside. Be careful not to use the egg yolk, because that would be a flip type of cocktail and not a sour as category. So make sure you drop it inside. And the egg white, start cooking with alcohol, like Comini did some recipes about it, another influential bartender. I'm in the Nottingham Forest in Milan, beautiful place. I will talk about it in the next video. And it goes this way. Usually, for shaking egg white, you need to dry shake it and then shake it again. I do a semi-wet shake, for which I use just little cubes of ice water, the dilution, and I keep shaking it only in one go. Here you are. And now the cocktail glass should be quite chilled. Anyway, I'm going to complete it with a big cube of ice. Here you are. Alright, and then a little hack for the egg white. It's usually to use a little bit of flame to stabilize the foam. Here you are. It's almost ready to serve. Then you can use different kind of stuff. What I like to use, it's a dried orange. And in my twist, I usually use a meringue if available, for you to enjoy. And now, the history of Amaretto Sour, it's a little bit fancy, because it was born, for sure not in the 70s, because the encyclopedia of cocktails, like the encyclopedia style cocktails in America in 1970, were not really figuring this cocktail among their list. So it's almost for sure it was not kind of existing. So when it came to exist, it's when the brand ambassador of Amaretto di Saronno went to America to sell the product, and he started selling the di Saronno with just some lemon juice. The way it evolved in time, and it became popular, most importantly, was because it became a very popular disco cocktail in America, in which they didn't have the lemon juice specifically by itself, but the 4-speed, the American bar style, was sweet and sour, which was mainly sugar and lemon with a touch of egg white to make it a little bit frothy as well, hence the original recipe. And usually the sour was a lot more than the sweet, so it was going well, probably especially with teenagers. This is roughly the history. It was created in 1974 but then it became popular in the 90s, essentially in America, 80s, 90s. So it took some time. The way I evolved the recipe and I made it mine instead was have been to replace the sugar syrup with orange marmalade. Why? Because the Saronno goes pretty well with the orange. This zest, juice, you name it. Putting some marmalade gives a different frothiness and consistency. So that's how I'm going to do it, and that's not gonna be just that. So, the way you do it, this Saronno, let's always go with the 50 milliliters. Then, lemon juice, always 40. But then now, what you add on top instead is a beautiful orange marmalade, which I will present you a couple of cocktails that I created with it. So one of my favorite marmalade with apricot as well. Just mix. You can go gentle because probably quite some will remain in the shaker. In the shaker when you strain it thin enough. I will show you in a moment. And then of course a little bit of egg white. We are going to use the fresh because we can. One day I will start making carbonara of the egg yolk. Always semi-wet sugar. And the way I'm going to present it, it's going to be on a martini glass, on a cube to be precise. And that's because in this way the marmalade will be able to stay at the bottom and not be completely used, not drunk. So use it also quite close to like this. You will sacrifice some foam for sure, but you will retain a lot of the sediments, which don't give like a perfect aroma. Always give it a go, even if you are using a replacement for the egg white. There we go. And then I like the fresh aroma of the orange, so I'm going to go ahead. Some other people put maraschino cherries as well, you can definitely do that. And that's how it stays. Legend for you to enjoy. Okay, this is the end of the video. There's a lot more content. Check out the links below because there might be something that you find very interesting. Many more videos to come, many more videos online. Enjoy. Have a good drinking.